in schools, to take the computers out of their hands, to shut down the trades training centres. He wants to deny 1.2 million children the benefit of a trades education. He wants to take away the money we want to invest in better teaching, the money that today is enabling the best teachers to be paid more to go to the classrooms that need them the most and change kids' lives. He wants to take that money away. He wants to end our program, Teach for Australia, which brings in to teaching the highest performing graduates. And of course, under Mr Abbott, you wouldn't see Teach Next, the program we have designed to bring high-achieving mid-career professionals into teaching so that they too can transform children's lives. Well, I do not believe that's good enough to let Australian children down. We've started the journey for the education revolution. We need to complete that journey for every child in every school. And friends, I understand for Australians right around this nation, it can be tough. It can be tough getting up every morning and going to work, setting the alarm clock early, getting the kids out to school, making sure that the cost of living, the bills all add up at the end of the week. People are obviously facing cost of living pressures. And of course, we want to help Australians with those cost of living pressures. But what I say to Australians is we want to help them in a way that ensures that families have the benefits of work and that kids are in school. That's why we've chosen to assist families with cost of living pressures by providing tax cuts. We want to make sure through our tax cuts, which have been provided 3 years in a row, that families get to keep more of what they earn. We want to make sure through our education tax rebate and by its extension to school uniforms that we are helping families with the cost of getting kids to school. We want to make sure that we're helping families with the cost of childcare centres, the very centres in which early learning will happen because of our new preschool program. We want to be a partner in those costs, and that's why we've increased the childcare tax rebate to 50%. And if re-elected as Prime Minister, I want to do more. I understand that teenage children don't cost less than younger children. In fact, everything I've ever heard suggests they cost a lot more. But our family benefit system at the moment is modelled on the assumption that kids are quite likely to leave school at 6. This is an assumption from an earlier age. We want teenagers in school. We want them learning the skills they will need for life and work. And that's why, if re-elected, I will increase the family benefit for teenagers by more than $4,000, a help for parents with the costs of raising teenagers, but it will be tied to kids staying in school, in education and training, getting the skills they need. We want them in school today so that they're in a job tomorrow. That's vital for our nation's future and for theirs. Friends, our future should be about shared prosperity. It should be about work. It should be about skills. It should be about what's happening in schools today. But it should also be our way of showing to each other care and concern. And there's never a more important moment than to show care and concern for each other than when someone faces an illness. Friends, we are the party of Medicare, and I'm proud to say that in front of Bob Hawke today. We brought Medicare to this country, it stood the test of time and it has served us well. But the reality is, when we came into office, we inherited the legacy of Mr Abbott's cuts. Mr Abbott's $1 billion ripped out of public hospitals, which meant they were feeling the stress and strain. Not enough doctors, not enough nurses, overcrowded emergency departments, people on waiting lists for elective surgery. We inherited Mr Abbott's cuts. Not enough trained GPs. It takes a long time to make a general practitioner, and if you're asking yourself the question, why can't I get a doctor's appointment today, look to Mr Abbott's cuts, because they're the reason why. We haven't been training enough general practitioners, and it shows. That's why we will continue to invest in and reform health. We will train 1,300 new GPs to overcome the legacy of Mr Abbott's cuts. We will train 3,000 more new nurses. We will train the health professionals we need for the future. We have increased the amount of money invested in health by 50%, and now we will reform for the future. More local control, more of a local say for doctors, nurses and the local community. The federal government stepping up to what it should do, taking the dominant share of funding for our health system. Making sure that we're reducing waiting times in emergency departments from 8 hours to 4 hours. Making sure that we are getting elective surgery performed on time in 95% of cases. These are profound health reforms that we want to deliver for the future. Australians need them, they need them now, and we need them to have a healthcare system that can meet our needs as we age, as there are more older Australians seeking care in 5, 10, 15 years' time. But friends, today I want to go further. I want to build on those health reforms as we move to a new future. Friends, we've had a lot of discussion in this campaign about the National Broadband Network, a lot of discussion about the power of this new technology. Now, of course, Mr Abbott thinks it's about sending an email, might want to download a movie, but in any event, he's not going to build it. We understand that this technology is about transforming our economy so we've got a fair share of the jobs of the future, our classrooms, so it doesn't matter whether you're sitting in a classroom in Brisbane or in Alice Springs or in Perth, you can open the door to the world and see it in your classroom. But we also understand that this technology is about transforming how we deliver healthcare. Friends, it is disturbing to me, it's unacceptable to me, it's offensive to me that if you live in rural and regional Australia, you are 3 times more likely to die within 5 years if you are diagnosed with cancer than other Australians. Literally, your chance at life is less. And that is because it is harder for people in regional and rural Australia to get access to the services, to the healthcare professionals they need. Well, I want to transform that. I want to transform it soon, and I want to transform it for the future, relying on the National Broadband Network. So today I announce that from the 1st of July next year, for Australians who live in rural and regional areas and outer suburban communities where specialists are short, we will have a Medicare rebate which enables them to Medicare rebate their consultation using the internet now and broadband tomorrow so they can see the health practitioner they need from the offices of their local general practitioner rather than moving town, moving city, moving state, which is what has to happen now. Friends, I ask you to imagine the power of this. Imagine having had an operation. You needed to go to a different place. Perhaps it was quite far from your home. You were distant from family and friends. You've had the operation and now you're well enough to return back home. But of course, operations require follow-up. They require monitoring and care. At the moment, to get that monitoring and care, each and every time you have to journey far from your home. And when we say far from our homes, of course that's true in rural and regional Australia, but it is also true for people on the outskirts of our major metropolitan cities. It can be a long way in from the edge of town if you're feeling sick and you've just had an operation. Under this scheme, you will be able to go to your local general practitioner and consult face-to-face through the power of the internet and then ever more quickly through the national broadband with your specialist without having to go far from where you live from the care and concern